Once again, another chance to travel to Paris, France. See Phil Collins in concert coming up a little bit later on our show this morning, 8:20. Right now from Detroit's Wheels. And time for a traffic update. Dave White is in the Wheels jet copter and is brought to you by National Business Employment Weekly, the best place to look for a better career. Published by the Wall Street Journal, 8 weeks, just $35. Phone 1-800-551-1100. Things are looking good out there still, David?
Still looking very good out here. A banner commute, as I mentioned earlier, JJ. We're looking at basically posted speeds throughout the entire metro area this morning. No accidents, not one this morning so far that we know of. We still have that work crew off to the roadside. Southbound 75 north of Big Beaver, and they aren't causing too much of a problem there. Disabled pickup in the turnaround lane has been cleared from westbound 94 to eastbound 94, the service drive in Ross. And we still have that 18-wheeler partial right lane southbound 275 in Joy Road, but it's completely off the roadway, and we're maintaining posted speeds there as well. Quick reminder, Ford Road westbound at Haggerty still blocked off that right lane by construction, and the ramp from northbound Telegraph to southbound Lodge still closed. Roadwork is the culprit there as well. I'm Dave White for the WLLZ Jet Patrol.
And I'm Jim Edis from the Channel 7 Weather Center. Weather brought to you by Roy O'Brien Ford at 9 Mile and Mack and St. Clair Shores. From the west side, take 696 to westbound 94. Exit at 9 Mile and drive 2 miles east to Mack. Well, the weather is terrific out there. As a matter of fact, we're looking for about 50 today, 60 tomorrow before the change. That change is a frontal system cutting right through the Great Lakes west of us now. Behind it, some cooler air. In fact, we'll see temperatures in the 30s over much of the upcoming weekend. We're kind of in the middle of two extremes right now. Listen to this. 18 inches of snow in Vermont, 13 inches in New York. Over a foot of snow in parts of Pennsylvania. That's the east side of it. The west side, they brought spring in style in Los Angeles yesterday. 90 degrees there. That was their high temperature, broke a record. As I mentioned, we're in the middle, and actually it's pretty nice here. We're looking for readings right around 50, as we mentioned today, 60 tomorrow, with no precipitation in the forecast except for the slight chance of rain later on tonight and tomorrow. Here's our forecast in detail. Sunny and warmer today with a high right around 50 degrees, and tonight becoming cloudy with that slight chance of showers and a low 35. Tomorrow, partly sunny, windy, again a slight chance of showers, high near 60. Pollution index 19 and 20. Air quality is good. Right now, 32 Metro, 34 City.
This is Mitch Albom. Is there no stopping the Pistons? And will the Wings make it? Sports in 60 seconds.
2 months ago, Mr. Smith's new truck was stolen. Fortunately for his sake, it was towed to Colex Collision Experts, Warren location. Mr. Smith left his car at Colex for repairs because they took the time to help him make his insurance claim and even arranged to get him in a rental car. In no time, his car was repaired as good as new. Last month, Mrs. Smith's new car was hit from behind while stopped at a traffic light. She took it to Colex Collision Experts, Sterling Heights location, where they helped her with her insurance and arranged for a rental car. In no time, her car was repaired as good as new. But yesterday, little Timmy Smith drove the family station wagon right through the garage, but he knew right where to go. Colex Collision Experts, home of the National Lifetime Warranty. Remember, when bad things happen to your vehicles, Colex Collision Experts is there to help, with 2 convenient locations in Warren on 9 Mile, 1 block east of Shaner, and in Sterling Heights on the northeast corner of 14 Mile and Mound. Colex Collision Experts, your first choice for quality craftsmanship and customer service. Just ask the Smiths, or stop in at the Warren or Sterling Heights location for a free computerized estimate, and check it out for yourself.
And Mitch Albom are brought to you this time by Colex Collision. Colex Collision Experts in Sterling Heights and Warren, your first choice for quality collision repair. And were it not for Tim Shovelday standing on his head last night in the overtime, Bruce, we wouldn't even salvage the point.
We'd really be crying in our beer.
Oh.
I'll tell you something. If the Wings don't make these playoffs this year, they ought to go back and ask to be paid by the hour, because they're putting in an awful lot of overtime these days and to very little avail. Last night against the Vancouver Canucks, another overtime, another tie. Their third tie in the last 5 games. This one a 4-4 version against the Canucks, and that's not going to do it for the Wings. We're battling tooth and nail, as you know, for that last playoff spot. They surrendered a point in the standings to Minnesota, who beat L.A. last night. The Wings are now behind the North Stars in last place. Minnesota comes into town tomorrow night, and that should be a very big game. Both
tickets
the Wings.
Here. Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's more important if you can get tickets here.
Done. A pair of good ones, too. We'll do that in just a few minutes, as a matter of fact.
That's
Opportunity for
the
you.
game of the year as of now. Both the Wings and North Stars have 6 games left. Meanwhile, the news more encouraging from the Pistons. They keep rolling like thunder. They took their 12th straight last night. Trivia question. How many weeks has it been since the Pistons last lost? Yeah,
Four.
Okay, last night they beat Milwaukee.
How many has it been?
I don't know. It's just a good question. Last night they beat Milwaukee in Milwaukee, 117-96. A defensive gem again. Pistons held the Bucks to just 12 points in the second quarter. James Edwards led the way with 21, but 6 Pistons scored in double figures. Chuck Daly loves the big D, loves the big W.
We did a pretty good job defensively in the second quarter, and were able to get the lead. Obviously, they're shorthanded, a couple of people, and that makes a difference. But, I thought we played very good defensively through pretty much 3 quarters and, hung our hat again defensively.
You know things are going good when Chuck Daly starts complimenting the team. Pistons next play Houston, first of 3 straight road games in Texas. Brendan Sir will join us in just a minute from the Lone Star State. I imagine that's here. Let's finish up in the other sports. First, baseball. Tigers are down in spring training camp in Lakeland. Sparky Anderson a little upset that 14 players couldn't get there for the first day of spring training, despite they having 5 weeks to do nothing but sit around and prepare for it. Tigers will begin exhibition games next Monday and begin the real season in Boston 2 weeks after that. Pro football, Indianapolis Colts general manager Jim Irsay says if Eric Dickerson plans on quitting football, he's going to have to ante up some bucks. Irsay says a clause in Dickerson's contract requires he pay the team back in the neighborhood of $1 million if he were to quit this soon. Dickerson has come out and said he wants no more of Indianapolis or football, although some people think he's just using that to get traded. I wasn't aware that retirement had such a high price tag. Jeff George of Illinois will go pro, skipping his senior year with the Illini. That should make Michigan State fans happy. They won't have to face him. Speaking of Michigan State, they head down to New Orleans this evening for the next round of the NCAA tournament. I'll be there tomorrow. You won't. I'm going tonight. Get some Raging Cajun food.
I guarantee.
That's
Michigan
John
State.
Sally's alma mater, as a
That's
matter
right.
of fact.
I'm going to have some fighting going on in here. That's why I'm leaving. I don't want to be in even in this booth when you talk to Sally about
He'll be here tomorrow,
Georgia Tech.
and I'd like to think maybe a wager is in order between me and Mr. Salman.
They take each other on Friday night in the late game. That game won't even start until 10:25. Meanwhile, probably the most interesting team left in the tournament is the one that knocked off Michigan, Loyola Marymount. Not only is the whole thing with Hank Gathers going on, but an interesting angle from television. On the Sunday Sports Album this past week, we had Greg Gumbel from CBS, who actually broadcast the game. He told us something very interesting about when CBS or any other network puts on the Loyola Marymount Lions.
You do a game one way for everybody else, and you do it another way for Loyola Marymount. You have to set the storyline at the top of the broadcast for Loyola Marymount, because once the game begins, you aren't going to get much time to say much else other than what's actually happening in the game and on the court. You guys are laughing here, but the fact of the matter is we use less than half the usual number of graphics during a Loyola Marymount game than any other. We use fewer replays because there just isn't time to do them.
Yeah. Interesting, isn't it? 149 points by one team in a college basketball game that usually only lasts 2 hours. You don't have a lot of time for replays. Interesting to note. Anyhow, going from college hoop to pro hoop, Mr. Lucky. Ever since we put him on, they have stopped. They've stopped losing. I think that we've only had to talk about one defeat, and then all the time that Brendan Sir's been on the program. Are you down in Texas?
No. We told the plane to wait till we did this show.
Wow.
We stayed in Milwaukee.
It's a long ride from Milwaukee to Texas. I'm surprised you didn't go down last night.
No, we don't play till Thursday, Mitch, so we wanted the guys to make sure they get good night's sleep. It'll be about a 2-hour flight, and otherwise, we'd get in about 1:30 in the morning, and no need to do that.
Screw up the schedule that way.
Now, you guys have 3 games in a row down in Texas to try to keep this, actually break the winning streak now record, because it was 13. You've got 12. If you win all 3 in Texas against Houston, San Antonio, and Dallas, you'll have a new mark. Is that on everyone's mind now? Is that the next immediate hurdle? Get a new streak?
No. We don't worry about those type of things. When you do that, Mitch, then you end up stumbling and causing other problems. All we're trying to do is just have the best record in the league. Unfortunately, or fortunately, that's probably going to require the streak to continue, because the Lakers aren't going to lose too often for the rest of the year, we don't think. And
they won again last night. You guys have 51 wins and 15 losses. They have 49 wins and 16 losses.
Right. Their schedule this week is pretty easy. They don't have a tough game till next Tuesday when they go to Portland. So they're going to win the last 2 games they have this week. So it just shows that we have to, keep doing our thing. But we were impressed with what the guys did last night. We thought we were vulnerable coming out last night. Sometimes teams that are a little bit shorthanded play a little bit better, and they came out with, again, as most teams do, with terrific intensity in the first quarter. Had us down 10 points, and we thought we were in trouble. Next thing you know, we're up 16 at the half.
Well, you're going to take on Houston, San Antonio, and Dallas. Now, you already humbled David Robinson in San Antonio not too long ago. I think that was up here, wasn't it? Now you got to go down there and try to do that again. And then Dallas was a sheer embarrassment the other night, and you're going to play them as well. They've got a couple teams that remember you very well. Let's put it that way.
Oh, yeah, and all three of these teams, Mitch, are just outstanding at home. As you know, any team in this league is dangerous on their home floor, but, for instance, tomorrow night, when we go to Houston, they're like 24-7 at home. Dallas is 23-9 at home, and San Antonio is the best at 26-5. So, I mean, all three of those teams are very, very capable. Plus, they have that revenge factor because two of them we beat pretty badly. In Houston, we stole the game from.
How about Isaiah's back? And there was talk that he was hurt, but he scored 19 points last night.
He's amazing. He's one of those guys we didn't even know if we were going to get anything out of him. We were happy to see he was going to try to play, and then on top of it, he played a fabulous game. His leadership is amazing. Just to have him out there for the leadership, but he moved well. Mike Abdenauer really worked hard on him for 2 days, getting him ready, and I don't want any comments in the background.
Now, what would we say about that?
No, just leave the guy alone, for crying out loud. He had a tough week.
Yeah, I bet he did, but wasn't he bestowed some kind of an honor last night in Milwaukee?
Well, we come into the locker room after the game, JJ, and as we walk in, I hear Lambier going, "Oh, they got you, Mike, they got you." And so I'm saying, "Oh, what the hell happened?" And I look on our chalkboard, and there's a Milwaukee Bucks jersey hanging up with Abdenauer written across the back with the numero 911.
That's pretty cute.
Well, Friday night in Chicago, we had the trainer of their team present him with a little fire truck. Last night we had the jersey with 911, and God knows what we're going to have in Texas. Larry Brown, the coach of the Spurs, is a terrific coach, and they came to the arena, to the Palace, the other day about 20 minutes early for a 10 o'clock shoot-around in the morning. And the balls that they used for practice happened to be in the press room, Mitch, where they were doing the Michigan lottery press conference for Joe Dumars.
Uh-huh.
And now it's 5 of 10. There's still no basketballs. And so finally Larry Brown sends a message in, ask Abdenauer if we have to call 911 to get the balls. So, I mean, it's going to be
a joke that follows him around forever, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the lesson is well learned.
I'm not sure what possessed him to do that in the first place.
Hey,
Just trying to be, on top of his game. No malice intended, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
no.
Kind of like a producer, you know what I mean? Sometimes they get a little overzealous. You know how that works.
Yeah, call and wake you up at 5 in the morning just to make sure you're in your hotel. All right.
Hey, what is going on with these New York Knicks, Brendan? They just started out on fire the beginning of the year at home, and now they've lost, the last 6 of 8 at Madison Square Garden. The Orlando Magic beat them up last night.
And the Magic, as you know, beat them up without 3 starters.
Yeah.
Scott Skiles actually had a triple-double.
Scott Skiles looked like Michael Jordan last night. I saw the highlights, and he kept waiting on the ESPN highlights for, but the Knicks made a shot, the buzzer, to win it. That's what you kept waiting for, but son of a gun, it's strange how that happens. I mean, the momentum is so crazy in this league, and how great teams, and I think they're not a great team, but they're on the verge of being really close to being one. How all of a sudden some chemistry can go wrong, or something happened, and bang, I don't know what it is, and you never know what's wrong with a team till you're there. But I don't like the vibes I'm getting out of that situation. And Boston, I think, is going to really be opportunistic and take advantage of it. And I think probably, be right there.
Yeah, a lot of people are overlooking this because it's a year or two old now, and people seem to focus on Detroit, Chicago a little bit more, or even Detroit, New York. But Detroit, Boston, the way the Celtics are playing now, has a real possibility of being another showdown series.
Well, since day one, I just said that, Boston, with its 3 guys inside, its improved bench, if they get any kind of guard play, will be the team that will play in the Eastern Finals. And they'll be difficult for us because of their big people. Plus, they play half-court, we play half-court games. So it's not going to be like age is a factor.
Yeah, they have to play half court. They can't move fast enough to play anything other than that.
You know, but excuse me. Let's not forget that we're the oldest team in the league. We're not playing like it, but we are. But I like Boston's chances. I like Philadelphia's chances. And both of them excel at the half-court game, which you need to have in the playoffs.
Yeah, but just remember, the oldest team in the league, statistics lie. I mean, that comes from average age, but you've got Hastings and Greenwood and Henderson bringing up the age curve there and sitting on the end of the bench.
No. Dovek puts Chuck's age in there, too.
Yeah, that really tips it over.
Go get him in Texas.
We'll have fun. Talk to you Sunday night.
Be good, Brendan. 8:36 in Detroit. That is Sports for Now and is brought to you by Colex Collision